Big Ten basketball at FS1 is powered by Ram Trucks. Nothing stops Ram. Welcome to Williams Arena. Big Ten basketball coming up. 7th-ranked Nebraska, undefeated, 19-0 against the Minnesota Golden Gophers here at the Barn. Hi, everybody. Welcome courtside alongside Coach Phil Martelli. I'm Corey Provis. Intriguing matchup today here, Coach, at the Barn. Nebraska, one of the best stories in college basketball this season. Meanwhile, Minnesota already 2 wins against ranked teams inside this building.
Corey, we have to address the whole country, though. Everybody's worried about eggs and milk and bread and shovels and gloves. Forget about it. We got Big Ten hoops, undefeated Nebraska against a hungry Minnesota group. Sit down, relax. The snow will be there.
It's cold outside. Good to have you with us inside the cozy confines of the Barn. Our starting lineups are brought to you by Ram. For Nebraska, Bryce Sandford has been lethal last 3 games, shooting 57% from the three-point line. For the Gophers, Kate Tyson, second in the conference in scoring at nearly 21 points per game. 2 teams, Coach, that rely heavily on their starters, and no Braden Frager today did not make the trip. Even more minutes for the starting 5 today for the Huskers.
And gifted players at every position and workers. The equipment managers needs to get ready. These uniforms are going to need to be laundered.
So many minutes relied upon for both of these starters. And again, Frager did not make the trip, injured his ankle early in the win against Washington, and he is day-to-day for Nebraska. Rick Mass will jump for Nebraska, and Jalen Crocker-Johnson for the Gophers, and the opening tip controlled by Nebraska underway here at the Barn. Brian Dorsey, Earl Walton, John Floyd are Big Ten officiating crew. 88th all-time meeting.
Big emphasis yesterday in Nebraska's shoot-around, care of the ball.
And Hoiberg with a good start, knocks down the 3. Nebraska, #1 of the Big Ten, averaging 11 made threes per game. Minnesota has dropped its last 4. Here's Isaac Austin, Minnesota native. Durkin passed up to 3. And now there's Osima baseline. Durkin off the fake, 4 to shoot, got it off in time, and ties the game.
Nico mentioned to me yesterday at practice, he's looking to make more than 10 threes. He wants his team to make more than 10 threes, and he believes it'll be a 4-minute game that way.
Good cut inside, and Berke Biyuktuncel with the easy 2 off the glass. With how well Nebraska shoots the 3, Fred Hoiberg also pointing out how efficient his team has been offensively near the basket. Tyson got hit and out of bounds, and it'll stay with Minnesota. And there is Fred Hoiberg in his 7th year. Nebraska seeking a 9-0 starting conference play for the first time since the Big 8 days. We're talking the mid-1960s. One of 3 remaining undefeated teams in college basketball, joining Arizona and Miami of Ohio.
Such a gentleman. Wonderful to visit with him last night and go over all of his experiences that he's bringing to this experience this year with the 19-0 team.
And now a foul on Minnesota as Nebraska collapsed defensively. It'll bring Nebraska ball.
The execution on Nebraska's first 2 buckets, inside out 3, and then a slice cut to get. They're looking to make simple plays simply. That sounds like a simple statement. It's not. It's hard to get players to make simple plays.
There's Rick Mass with the right hand, soft touch, no, and Osima with the rebound. Kate Tyson, tough pass, caught in traffic by Durkin. What a find that was from Tyson.
Corey, you mentioned the Ohio State game. We have to remember, Minnesota at Ohio State on Tuesday night, down 10-0. They lost the second half about 17-3 to start. Otherwise, they'd win that game going away. They wanted to be in the game.
Stand it blocked off the missed 3, and here comes Osima. Jalen Crocker-Johnson, 3 straight games at 20 points or more. Keep an eye on number 5 for Minnesota. Right now, Durkin, though, with the ball, he has all 5 of the Gophers' points so far. Here's Osima for the lead. A couple of bounces and out, and Biyuktuncel with the rebound. Lawrence underneath finds Mast and another good feed.
Terrific seal by Mast. He always runs the middle of the floor, so he's a straight line player, but he seals effectively. A seal's when you put a guy on top of you, you don't let him decide where you're going to receive the pass.
Fred Hoiberg asking him about Rick Mast today. He's diligent, he's disciplined with everything he does with his game. After a lost season with injury, he has bounced back and an all Big Ten player this year. Another cut, Bryce Sanford to miss and a foul, and that's going to be the second foul on Isaac Awesome. So we talked about the depth, not a strength for either team, and Awesome picked up his second. How about this pass, though, from Tyson?
Wonderful look, because he's such a scorer. They rushed at him, throws that bounce pass, and then eyes up. All of our young players out there, play with your eyes up. The activity is there. Vision.
Bryce Sanford, really automatic at the line, over 80% at the line as Sanford. So Awesome picking up his second foul. Here comes New Jersey native freshman Kai Shinholster. He'll be asked to play some big minutes here in the first half.
In their two recent overtime losses, Minnesota has lost a starter late in the game, fouling out. They thought that was the deciding factor. This is a big development with him with two fouls early.
Tyson with the ball. He did foul out of the Ohio State game, and now Crocker Johnson knocking down the three. He followed Nico Medved to the Twin Cities from Colorado State, and it's a one-point game. There's Mast off the curl and the screen. Can't hit the three. Butte to Gel with the foul inside, and it'll be Minnesota ball when we come back. Just more than 4 minutes gone by at the barn. It's a one-point game. Nebraska leading Minnesota early on FS1. Students are back. Barnyard filling in nicely today here at Williams Arena. One-point game, 15:59 to go first half. We mentioned at the top, Coach, about two teams that rely heavily on their starters today. So Isaac Awesome picking up his second foul is a big storyline for Nico Medved early in this game.
What I think it will do, Corey, is it's going to accelerate Nico's desire to play zone. You can bring him back and play zone. He's not a guy that's going to get a charge by going out of control offensively. He's not going to really get in the mix as a rebounder. He can get long rebounds. We're going to see zone, and when he comes back in.
Which could be dangerous against a very good three-point shooting team that Nebraska has shooting against a potential zone here in this first half. Langston Reynolds finds Crocker Johnson.
Reynolds now takes on a big role of initiating offense.
7 to shoot. Crocker Johnson over Mast. Back come the Huskers. Game starting 5 on the floor for Nebraska, and this is going the other way. Marcus Lawrence with the moving screen. Minnesota ball.
A lot of time was spent on taking away the primary cut. That's exactly what Shinholster did. He took away the primary cut. Lawrence's answer was to push.
2 team fouls apiece. Minnesota offensively near the bottom of the Big Ten in possessions per game. They really use the shot clock as they do here. 3 to shoot. Reynolds make that. Yeah, it is Reynolds for 3 off the mark, out of bounds, and it's Nebraska basketball. Now Nico Medved, the Minnesota native from nearby Roseville, Minnesota, was a student here, student manager, and assistant coach, and now in his first year as the head coach. And today, Minnesota looking for a win against a top 10 AP team. The Gophers have lost their last 9 games consecutively against AP top 10 teams.
And Nico's parents have been season ticket holders here for over 40 years.
Amazing. Long time, and second 3 for Sam Hoiberg. It's Alumni Day here at Minnesota as well. More than 40 players will be honored here at halftime.
Corey, in
Kate Tyson, coach.
in today's world, Minnesota might be looking to get one of those guys eligible. Who knows?
Tyson had it knocked
We
away.
can't go there. We can't go there right now.
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Penetration, reaction to the penetration, and a kick out. Player development. That was a player development basket.
Tyson off the front of the rim, no good. Biyuk-Tujil with the rebound inside. Kate Tyson hasn't scored yet today. Second of the conference in scoring. Quick close on Sanford. Now the lead to Biyuk-Tujil off the pass from Mast.
Both teams, the ball pops. It doesn't stick. We're not going to see guys dribbling down the floor and just holding it, looking for a ball screen, which we see a lot in today's game. This is beautiful basketball at the offensive end by both teams. And it looks prettier when the ball goes in.
And it does. There's Reynolds to Durkin, and he's been the offense for Minnesota so far today. He has 7 of the team's 10.
Another interior pass.
Here's Sanford for 3. It's been a rare miss. The tip out into the hands of Langston Reynolds. Dale Jacobson on the floor right now for the Huskers. It's Durkin again with a good look, and Hoiberg is a good rebounding guard. Hoiberg off the fake this time. Finds his way inside and off the glass.
He has an exceptional ability to drive closeouts. He makes 2 threes. They know he's going to. They know the defense is going to come harder, and he takes the ball at the closeout.
What a great pass that was. The cut from Shitholster and the 5 from Durkin. Something that Minnesota does so well, just constantly cutting. There's Mast in traffic, contested by Crocker Johnson, but better shot.
Skillful bigs in this game. They play away from the basket. They share the ball, but when they get it in the low post, they can both score, both teams.
That's 4 points so far. And Nebraska's lead is 6. Huskers have hit on 4 of their last 5 from the field. Tyson with 3. Got it. First points for Tyson. It's his 2nd in the conference in scoring. Only Northwestern's Nick Martinelli is scoring at a higher rate. And the transfer from North Carolina, Kate Tyson. That was tipped by Reynolds, and will stay on this end of the floor, and Reynolds will be called for a foul. So we'll step aside with 11:25 to go here in the opening half, and Nebraska will have the ball when we come back, leading by 3. Yes, they can shoot the 3, but man, they're passing as well. Biyuk-Tujil with the dunk off the feed from Mast. And the Huskers lead by 3 at the mark.
In my opinion, though, okay, in my opinion right now, there's not a lot of secrets right now. The only guy that I see playing with the right hand activity is Lang right now. Okay, we got to play with the right hand activity. We got to figure it out. There's a drive. You're the goalie. You've got to step up. It's way too easy for him. Got to play with more of a sense of urgency. Our hands got to be more active. We got to defeat screens. We got to communicate. We got to challenge shooters. It's not what we're doing. It's how we're doing it.
Make others uncomfortable. That's the purpose of defense. Nebraska has not been uncomfortable yet.
Ball was on Langston Reynolds as we went to break his first. Jared Garcia on the floor right now for Nebraska. Here is Sanford on the drive. Lost it, 2 to shoot. Hoiberg got it off in time, short, and the rebound to Tyson, and a foul by Hoiberg. Nico Medved was just saying, let's talk about hands, active hands. And he applauded the effort so far from Reynolds.
And Corey, as we went out, as we came from that timeout, They went with their zone look on the baseline, switched to man-to-man. Everybody on the bench had their hands up. Nothing wrong with visual reminders to your players.
Holster for the tie. And Sanford with the rebound. Mast on the bench getting a breather.
Nico also wanted his team to up their communication level. You got a good crowd, you got a noise, but you have to listen to each other on the floor.
No space for Sanford.
High hands, high hands.
Durkin that time. He's having a great first half. Here's Crocker Johnson against two, blocked by Sanford, got it back, and then was Garcia defending. To Gel off his fingertips, and then he walks. So turnover Nebraska. Third Nebraska turnover.
Take his vision, take his vision, take his vision. There it is. Now we go back. Key, Fred Hoiberg, what's a key offensively? We must take care of the ball and we must make simple plays. What's that mean? The ball must go A to B and we'll get our shots. It hasn't these last couple of possessions.
The block from Garcia out of bounds. It'll stay with Minnesota. As Jacobson on this elevated floor could not hang on to it.
We could see
and the Gophers at 3 and 5 in league play.
We could see extended minutes from Garcia and Jacobson today without the young fella who's back in Lincoln.
Braden Frager will make the trip, injured his ankle day to day, even asking Fred Hoiberg today about the status for Tuesday's game against Michigan. He said, too early to tell. He's doing better, but day to day right now. And Sanford will be listening for the foul as he was battling with Tyson inside.
Real subtle move there, Corey. Minnesota knew that Nebraska would switch a lot of their action, and they taught their players last night in shoot-around to step into the switch, which means you then put the switching player at a disadvantage.
Scoring drought for Nebraska approaching 3 minutes, so Rick Mast is back on the floor. Minnesota's missed his last 4 from the field. Play clock for Durkin. He'll attack and a foul. So the shot clock winding down. Bobby Durkin, transfer from Davidson, is making quite the impact here in the first half. That was on Garcia.
With the drought that Nebraska's in, the next possession down, the ball will go through Mast in the low post. He'll be a creator down there, but he's going to get a touch in the low post.
8 first half points for Bobby Durkin. That's what he's averaging per game.
There it is. Asima back. I'm going to say it right now. I'm going to make this call.
Right.
We're going to see zone from Minnesota this possession.
Durkin knocks down a pair. And Asima, those 2 fouls. We'll see what Minnesota does here defensively.
Now they went man-to-man. I will guarantee you this. Nico and his staff are over there holding their breath. Because if that whistle blows and Asima is anywhere near it, they're going to say, not him.
There's Mast cutting and the little fake, and sure enough, Rick Mast ends the drought
at the rim
for Nebraska.
Can't let that bucket get away without complimenting Garcia on the pass now.
Grayson Grove on the floor. Minnesota pretty much just 7-man rotation for the Gophers. Awesome in the paint. The floater spun out, and the rebound comes down to Garcia. There's Jamarcus Lawrence. Will pop and fire, no good. Match the tip into the corner. Jacobson has it. This was a big concern for Nico Medved today. He said second chance, third chance, those dagger threes that Nebraska is so good at when they keep the possession alive.
One shot each possession.
Garcia way off. He's now 6 of 29 from 3 this season. Tyson travel. Second Minnesota turnover. Nebraska ball, 8:10 to go until halftime.
Real subtle there, Corey. What he did was he looks over his inside shoulder. That's a big deal for big players. You have to get vision on the court. So many of them get focused on the ball, and there's a trap coming. Both of these teams like to trap the post from the baseline side. Inside shoulder look. There it is. Mass did it again.
Shoulder from Grove, a collapse there from Tyson. Garcia tries again, no, and Reynolds tipped it to himself. Nebraska 2 of 8 from 3 so far as a team. Timeout coming, next whistle. Osimo steps back with 6 to shoot. His pass tipped. Reynolds back to Durkin, this for the tie.
Minnesota's had those looks that they want. Remember, they're looking to get more than 10 made threes.
Scoring drought for Minnesota now, lasting more than 2 minutes. Missing on his last 6 from the field. Garcia short. And Reynolds did save it, threw it up in the air. And that was a smart play from Osima, tipping it to his own teammate. Reynolds looking for a crease. He found it. And a foul. And free throws upcoming. We come back with 6:52 to play until halftime. Nebraska up by 3. But active hands. It was Reynolds with the save. And then Osima with a little tip to his own teammate. And that's why Minnesota will be at the line when we come back. 3-point game. Nebraska by 3, 6:52 to play until halftime. Fox College Hoops Friday features a Big Ten rivalry as Axel Lendenberg leads number 3 Michigan against 10th ranked Michigan State coming up Friday night, 8 Eastern only on Fox. Michigan beating Ohio State last night. Michigan and Michigan State coming up on Friday on Fox. Let's take a look at Big Ten and the net, top 25. And Fred Hoiberg, big reason why this conference has been so good this season. Coach, here you go. 6 teams in the top 25 in the net from the Big Ten Conference.
Every night, road, home, it doesn't matter. Every night, you know that you're being matched by a coaching staff that will be well prepared and players that are hungry to make their mark.
Langston Reynolds at the line, and overall this season his free throw shooting numbers are down. He's 57%, but he has been significantly better in conference play.
Interesting player because he can score easily with his back to the basket. You don't see that in today's game much.
Reynolds now 5 points shy of 1,000 over his collegiate career. Came to Minnesota via Northern Colorado. Jacobson against Osima, turning and scoring.
Garcia and Jacobson have given a little bit here, right? We had Garcia with a bucket, great pass. Jacobson making small plays.
Another good look for Shinholster, and he knocks down the 3, and this is a 1-point game.
He got everybody in Philly jumping up and down. Played at Penn Charter High School, won a championship.
The Gophers so far have made more threes in this game than the Huskers. Minnesota's made 4, Nebraska 2. Jacobson begging for the ball, extra pass, and now Lawrence back to Hoiberg, 3 to shoot, no good, Minnesota ball. Gophers have not led yet today. Crocker Johnson trying to change that. Tyson the tip.
Really good offense.
Rebound.
Always throw the ball back where it came from. They did a little pick and roll, throwback. Good shot. Just didn't go in.
Uchtengel, he was asking for that pass, then he missed the bunny.
Player that skilled, that should have been a right-handed attempt at the rim.
It's Crocker Johnson up top for three. And the Gophers have their first lead. No-look pass by Uchtengel to a great feed to a cutting Hoiberg.
That is pretty basketball right there. How about an answer? Tie that game.
Minnesota has assisted 8 assists and 8 made field goals. Nebraska, by the way, 8 assists on 10 made field goals. Crocker Johnson sets up Tyson, corner pocket three.
Corey, you know what we're seeing? We're seeing joyful basketball. Really, people are having fun. There's not a lot of grinding here. And how about this crowd?
Crowd is into it. Packed crowd here at the barn on this chilly day. Langston Reynolds picking up his second foul for the Gophers. 3:53 to go until halftime. Lead by 3. Big Ten basketball and FS1 is powered by Ram Trucks. Nothing stops Ram. 3:53 to go until halftime. The Gophers have a 3-point lead. 3-point shooting has been a strength, coach, so far for the Gophers.
The beauty here is every one of these comes off of a pass. They're setting up their teammates. Important for the shooter to use this term in their brain. I am shot ready. I am shot ready. It is not make ready. It's just like me sitting here. I got to be ready, Corey. You're going to set me up, and I got to drill that ball.
Now Minnesota so far 9 assists on 9 made field goals. And keep in mind, you see the Gophers averaging around 8 made threes per game. Have made 6 so far, but foul trouble. Langston Reynolds, he has 2 fouls. He's out. Isaac Awesome with 2 fouls. He is on the floor.
Zone, Corey, zone. Now, sometimes this will jump into a man-to-man if the ball goes to the foul line area.
Lawrence the miss, and last touch by Nebraska. Minnesota ball. And Lawrence is saying to challenge this. And Rick Mass is saying the same thing. And Hoiberg says, nope, let's play on. Johnson from the wing. Make that 7. Made first half threes for the Gophers.
Shout out to all the graduate assistants, all of the staff members, the managers. These guys shot the ball. I can't even tell you how long it was yesterday. And came back last night and shot the ball again.
Sam Hoiberg, outstanding first half. He leads all scorers. He has 12. 3 to play. Nebraska with 16 fouls. Next foul on the Huskers puts Minnesota at the line. Some contact there, and sure enough, it is a whistle and a foul. If that's on Uchtengel, that's his second. It is on Berke Uchtengel, his second, so Mass was fine. Then a little shove there from number 9.
That was an
1-1.
An unusual possession for Minnesota. They don't dribble the ball a lot. It's all short passing. They have a short passing game. Everybody gets a touch.
Osma missed it. Tyson had it stripped, and it'll stay with Minnesota. Admittedly, Nico Medved, when you ask him about the offense, coach, he's playing at a slower pace. Now, much of that is because of who he has and who he does not have. He's down 4 scholarship players for the season.
It also impacts, Corey, the way they practice. It's not as much live activity. Court, we gotta send him outside. He's gotta go outside. He can warm up everything. It's freezing here, not him.
Crocker Johnson has 4 threes in this first half. 7-point Minnesota lead. Lawrence from the elbow, yes. First points for Jamarcus Lawrence, the senior from Plainfield, New Jersey. Saw that coming, and last touch by Osima, and Lawrence forces the turnover.
That's understanding what Nebraska's going to bring you. They're going to double and show on those ball screens and a throwback. Remember what we said earlier. The place that's most open on the court is where the ball just came from. Throw it back.
Minnesota quickly collapsing on Sanford. Lawrence can't hit the three, and Crocker Johnson the rebound. 3 rebounds to go with 12 points. Crocker Johnson, he checked time. Sanford responding defensively. Now runs the floor, the block, and then it was Crocker Johnson with the block. Lawrence missed it. Mass no. Tip is out. It comes to Hoiberg. Sequence that was. Wow. Hoiberg off the fake, driving baseline and lays it up and in.
Core, that was hoops at both ends. Wow.
Defensive plenty, and then it was Hoiberg up to 14 points to lead all scorers. 60 seconds to go until halftime. Shot clock down to 7, and Minnesota turns it over. Here's Lawrence driving, and offensive foul.
Minnesota is very good at taking charges. We get a jumper blocked here, a little on a big, but how about not dropping your head? Crocker Johnson gives it up for his team by running that play down.
Wild possession, and then it came down to Hoiberg and got Crocker Johnson up and attacked wisely along the baseline.
That's his 3rd bucket this half, attacking closeouts. By that I mean they rush at shooters. You'll hear it in every gym. Close out, close out, close out. And they want you to take away that jumper. The really good offensive player counters that by attacking. And you'll notice that if you come with your left foot forward, he attacks your right foot.
Season numbers for Hoiberg, who surpassed 500 career points against Washington back on Wednesday, has 14 here in the first half. And Nebraska with 30 points so far, coach, here in this half. And as deadly as they could be shooting the three, 20 of their 30 points have come in the paint so far today. Man, Jalen Crocker Johnson. What a first half he is having. He's been a prolific scorer here of lately. 20 points or more in 3 straight. He has 12 points here in the first half on 4 made threes. Here's Durkin. He's had a hot hand today. And Minnesota now with 9 made first half threes.
Nebraska's going to take one shot. Here's the biggest deal. Osima cannot foul. Get out of the action. We'll see a little screen by Sanford and then a step back.
Gophers have some fouls to get as well. If they're beat, only 14 fouls here, coach.
The problem is, Corey, with their limited depth, they can't afford to just give away a foul.
Hoiberg with 7. Sets up Mass for 3. Too strong. Durkin the rebound. Lets it fly. 3/4 court, and it's off the mark. And there's the first half from the barn. Minnesota, 7th in the country, undefeated, 19-0, but being tested so far in the Twin Cities by the Gophers.
Let's not take halftime. Let's keep going. That was
Coming
good
up,
hoop.
the Ram Trucks halftime report. Rob Stone, Donnie Marshall, Seth Davis recap the first half Get you up to speed on a busy day across the college basketball landscape. Gophers up by 6. Perhaps an upset brewing at the barn. Stay tuned. Rob and the guys from LA next with our Ram Trucks halftime report. Welcome back to Minneapolis. Alumni Day ceremony is taking place at halftime. More than 40 former players, staff members honored here at halftime. And so far, the alums enjoying the show with the Gophers on top by 6 at the half. Let's go back to early first half when Nebraska held a 3-point lead. We went inside the huddle with Nico Medved. Let's revisit what Nico told his team defensively.
In my opinion, though, in my opinion right now, there's not a lot of secrets right now. The only guy that I see playing with the right hand activity is Lang right now. Okay, we got to play with the right hand activity. We got to figure it out. There's a drive. You're the goalie. You've got to step up. It's way too easy for him. Got to play with more of a sense of urgency. Our hands got to be more active. We got to defeat screens. We got to communicate. We got to challenge shooters. It's not what we're doing. It's how we're doing it.
Not what we're doing, how we're doing it. 18-15 at that point. They give up 12 points the rest of the half and turn Nebraska over.
Really something to be seen here in this first half. Corey Provis, Coach Phil Martelli here. So with that being said, Minnesota has a 6-point lead at the break.
He also last night mentioned to his team, multiple effort, multiple effort. We saw it, the way they guard Sanford, multiple effort. Everybody guarded him, not one person for that responsibility. And at the other end, let's go back. First statement from the coaching staff last night, we need to make more than 10 threes. Well, they certainly tried to do that in the first half.
9 made threes in the first half. You saw Sam Hoiberg. He led the way for Nebraska in the first half with 14 points. That's 4 shy of his career high. Now Nebraska undefeated, 19-0, 8-0 so far in league play. Currently on a 23-game winning streak, dating back, of course, to last season. 4 times this season they have trailed at the half, and so far they won all 4 of those games.
There'll be no panic because they're older and they're coming in here experiencing success.
Crocker Johnson, outstanding first half, took a shot from Buick-to-Gel. We play on. Buick-to-Gel hit the deck.
This offense is going to go through fast.
Call the coach, here he is, trying to square up Crocker Johnson. It's veteran on veteran and a foul. Just the first foul on Jalen Crocker Johnson. And Nico Medved disagrees.
When in doubt, put the ball in the low post.
They're going to call the foul on Awesome. I beg your pardon, not Crocker Johnson. Awesome. So that's his 3rd. So 41 seconds into the second half, Osima has to sit. There's Lawrence, lost it, got it back. This from Sanford. But nothing has been easy for Sanford at all today. Minnesota has just closed and collapsed collectively every time he's held the ball.
Corey, there's
touched by Nebraska.
New term that they use in defensive basketball. They'll say with a shooter like that, tag him. So if you envision that as a kid, when you had a tag, you had to be close enough to touch them. That's what they want to do. And that's what they've done now for 22 minutes.
Jackson Reynolds picks up his dribble. Shot clock down to 7 for Tyson. Got around Mass, the step into paint. It'll count and 1.
Buckets like you breathe. Wow. This little bit of a Euro right there. The key to the whole thing, Corey, was Tyson put his eyes on the rim. For any parent who's teaching their young child how to play, for a young player that's watching, put your eyes up.
Tyson knew that was not going to be there. Went after the rebound. Hoiberg, by the way, whistled for the foul, his 2nd. Now we have an issue with the clock, so John Floyd holds up play. So an 8-point Minnesota lead. Nebraska entering play today, one of 3 remaining undefeated teams, joining Arizona and Miami of Ohio. That man right there, forget Big Ten Coach of the Year right now, certainly in the conversation to be the National Coach of the Year.
And as we said in the first half, just calm. Was not concerned with the start time, was not concerned with the record. He saw this as an opportunity.
And Sanford is fouled by Tyson. First foul on Tyson. Bryce Sanford. Foul line.
Big time shooters like this young fella also have to be adept at moving. He just curled his way where he circled somebody. He curled his way into a play at the rim.
How long has Fred Hoiberg known Bryce Sanford? Well, let's go back to when Fred Hoiberg was coaching at Iowa State, and Bryce Sanford would go to Fred Hoiberg camps at Iowa State, and there was a young Sam Hoiberg matching up man-to-man with Bryce Sanford in Ames at Fred Hoiberg's basketball camps.
I wonder if part of that was like if you were the MVP of the camp, you got a scholarship to wherever Fred was coaching.
Well, asking Fred today, he's tried to recruit Bryce forever. Out of high school, of course, he began at Iowa to play with his brother. Durkin for 3, can't hit, and Lawrence with a good tip to Mass, and there's Crocker Johnson trying to poke it free. And Nebraska able to run away with it. Here's Sanford, transition 3, in and out. Well, that's been down more times than not this season for Sanford, those transition 3s.
That's secondary action, and that means the next part of the transition, not the primary 3-on-2, but they find Sanford. He'll get that shot again.
Here comes Hoiberg. Nobody stopping the ball, so he misses the layup inside. Here's Reynolds trying to get around Buick, and he's fouled.
If this keeps up, Corey, we're going to test the structural foundation of the barn.
Open
what
up
energy.
At 19:28. And Buick, by the way, that's his 3rd foul. So here's Langston Reynolds.
Key player on each team now sitting with 3.
That's a poor foul there from Tyson.
We know Minnesota is limited. Frager not being here for Nebraska is going to have an impact here.
So Buick sits with 3 fouls. Meanwhile, Tyson just whistled for his 2nd. Fouled out in overtime in the loss against Ohio State on Tuesday. So Reynolds, he's just in the hip pocket of Sanford. Hoiberg got it back from Mast. Jacobson looking for an angle on Tyson and scores.
That's his 2nd bucket. What a great description of Reynolds' defense on Sanford. Really great description for it.
Extra pass, Tyson from the corner.
Extra pass by Durkin. Tyson makes that more often than not.
Here's Sanford, doesn't need much space, and got the friendly roll. And knocking down his first 3 today, missed his prior 3.
The reason he made it is he focused on that shot. Shooters look at the next shot, not the last shot.
Back to a 1-possession game. Crocker Johnson over Mast. Durkin, the offensive rebound, the block from Sanford, and it's out of bounds. Nebraska ball. Boy, that looked like an easy 2 from Durkin, but there was Sanford defensively with the denial.
That's his 2nd big block of today. Here's what we got, Corey. Right now, you're going to see them ride Sanford. Here he comes. They're going to run this play, some kind of circle action for Sanford.
7 blocks for Nebraska so far today and counting. Sanford in traffic, shoots over Reynolds, and it's a one-point game. A 7-0 Nebraska run.
Interesting now with Osama being out. Reynolds is not the natural point guard.
Turnover Minnesota. Here's Hoiberg. Lost the dribble, got it back. Sanford trailing for three. Reynolds couldn't corral it. Now Lawrence with a chance. Oh, some good looks for Nebraska.
Here. These 10 players are putting it out there.
Minnesota hasn't scored in more than 2 minutes. Tyson going baseline, cut off by Mast, and scores. Tyson now to double figures with 10. Lawrence driving, and 2 more in the paint, and that's where the Huskers have lived today. That is now 26 paint points.
Lawrence did to Shinholster what a senior would do to a freshman there.
And Osama's going to check back in, coach. Next whistle and a foul.
Everybody needs this break, Corey.
And we'll step aside. 14:38 to go. Minnesota led by 6 at halftime. Nebraska, though, has outscored Minnesota by 5 here in the second half. And Bryce Sanford is scoring, picking up here in the second half. Nebraska undefeated, down 1 at the barn. 1 point Minnesota lead, 14:38 to go, second half. Tomorrow on Fox with a trip to Super Bowl 60 on the line. Matthew Stafford and the Rams take on Sam Darnold and the top-seeded Seahawks, the NFC Championship, presented by Intuit TurboTax tomorrow at 6 Eastern, 3 Pacific, only on Fox.
I had just assumed the NFL had canceled the season when the Eagles lost.
You were done?
That's it. That ends in Philadelphia. There's a season?
Yeah, we're still playing.
Holy mackerel.
Speaking of still playing, Bryce Sanford is playing, picking up here, coach, in the second half.
And with a scorer, shooter, short memory, short memory, short memory. Watching his facial expressions, he didn't react or overreact to being tagged the whole first 24 minutes. And then he bust out there with 7 straight points.
Nebraska fouls. We went to break on Jamarcus Lawrence, his 3rd. He stays on the floor. Isaac Osama back in, and a foul on Nebraska.
We're going to get a look at this, maybe. Yeah, we're going to get a look. Tyson rolled back after setting an up screen. Got cracked in the head. Sets that up screen.
And the elbow from Sanford came up high.
They have to check everything above the shoulders.
So for now, coach, has been called a common foul on Sanford.
The previous foul is on the review, potential flagrant 1.
Well, we can get ready. We're going to the foul line. We're going to the playground.
Play is under review, and we'll step aside.
Sunday, the NFC Championship is on Fox. The trilogy is set with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line.
Oh, my goodness!
Matthew Stafford and LA aim to keep their thrilling playoff run alive.
Oh, what a play!
Against Sam Darnold and top-seeded Seattle.
Caught! Touchdown!
It's Rams, Seahawks, Part 3. The NFC Championship presented by Intuit TurboTax. Sunday at 6 Eastern on Fox.
The Great American Race returns.
The 100 begins with the Masters Agility Championship next Saturday at 4:30 Eastern on Fox.
1-point game, 14:37 to play during the commercial break. The officials did take a look at the contact between Bryce Sanford and Cade Tyson. This was ruled a common foul and has not been upgraded to a flagrant one. It stays as a common foul, Coach.
And again, the execution of the inbounds play, the terminology of a normal basketball maneuver. Didn't see it there.
Off the missed three from the corner. And Minnesota now is yet to make a three this half. 0-4 after knocking down 9 threes in the first half. Nebraska last led when it was a 22-21 game. Lawrence short, masked. Good position inside, missed. Down low, ripped away by Crocker Johnson. And masked with the foul. Just the first on the 6'10" center.
That little delay, we want to get back into a flow. We want to get their sweat going again. We've had a lot of great action. We want that to continue.
It's 5 team fouls on Nebraska this half. Minnesota with 3. And Reynolds and Crocker Johnson can't connect. Turnover number 6 for Minnesota.
Big deal in that situation is to look at each other and say next play, next play. That's what they were looking for. Nico and his staff said to every guy, make one play and we'll get over the hump of these close losses.
Sam Hoiberg, the game's leading scorer with 14 points. Durkin now responsible for hanging with Sanford. Lawrence to skip. Jacobson, that left-handed stroke, and knocks down the 3, and Nebraska regains the lead. It's a 14-4 Huskers run.
Third basket, and when asked last night, their coaching staff said, watch for him. He does a lot of winning.
And without Braden Frager today, more minutes for Jacobson. Can Reynolds answer no? That's not his game. Not a good three-point shooter, only 4 made all year. Now Sanford off. He got a great screen and could not hit, and a foul. And it's on Hoiberg. That's going to be his 3rd.
The drive on the baseline, they tell you drive baseline, look to the opposite corner. Lawrence puts his pressure on the defense, fearing the layup. They play the scouting report. Jacobson not known as a shooter. When you're winning, everybody contributes.
0 for 7 scored in more than 2 minutes. In traffic, Crocker Johnson gives it back to Osima for 3. Short, and Sanford the rebound. Hoiberg for 3, no. 1 and done for Nebraska.
Minnesota's looks have been good looks. They got to breathe. Be confident. Never shoot a ball if you think it's not going in. Always think in.
Reynolds had his pass intercepted by Sanford. Turnovers piling up for the Gophers this half.
Touch again in the low post. Master's a master down there.
Cut off by Crocker Johnson. Now Lawrence fading away, knocking it down.
Defensive discipline, though. Durkin stayed down. What did Lawrence do? He stepped away. A little bit of a fadeaway.
A 7-0 Nebraska run. Reynolds in traffic. Around and out.
Timeout coming from Minnesota.
And Tyson, he went knee on knee against Sanford.
They get to the
shot won't count. And Tyson picking up his 3rd foul, and that takes us to a break with 11:29 to go here in the second half. Nebraska outscoring Minnesota 16-6 in the second half. Jamarcus Lawrence with a fadeaway. He's got 6, and the Huskers' lead is up to 4. Nebraska by 4, 11:29 to go, second half. Let's go inside the Nebraska huddle with Fred Hoiberg.
All right, listen, guys, you're doing a great job down there with your hands right now. Make sure we rebound. Rebound with 5. Keep looking to push. We've got him some great looks and transitions. Keep looking. Keep finding him. Keep running to him. Also, the away action. The away is a 5.
Against Sanford, what he said is find him in transition. Away action means bring the ball down one side and then they double away. In Nebraska's set, Sanford goes low. They set a double screen, and he'll often curl it and screen for a big man.
So that no surprise, Nebraska red hot second half. They've been the best in the Big Ten, outscoring the opposition by 10 here at the half. Adding to that, Sanford slashing, cutting, and the Huskers add to their lead.
That was Jacobson's basket. Why? He took the ball to the middle of the lane, ping touch. Sanford did the cutting. Jacobson did the set the table.
28 of Nebraska's 48 in the paint today. And Tyson ends the drought. He's got 12. It's a scoring drought that lasted nearly 4 minutes for Minnesota.
The way Minnesota gets back and gets control again is scores and then stops.
Lawrence for 3. He has 9, knocking down his first 3 today.
Hoiberg penetration, pitch to that corner.
Minnesota made 9 threes in the first half, haven't hit one this half. Nebraska, meanwhile, this half, they've knocked down 3. Durkin, he had the hot hand early today. Crocker Johnson, that was short. And 1 and done for Minnesota. Sanford to Buick to Gel. To the glass. 2 more.
Timeout. Gotta be a timeout.
Timeout, Minnesota, and plenty of Big Red inside the barn today. And Husker fans enjoying the second half surge as the lead has grown to 9.
They keep sharing the ball so exquisitely. No help off of Sanford. What's he do? Plants his foot, back cut. Space the court. Lawrence sits in the corner. Hoiberg penetrates. Help comes too soon. Finish that shot. BK. Again, eyes on the rim, but Sanford sets it up. There's double team coming at Sanford. He finds the open man. Share the game, fellas. Share the game.
Longest winning streaks, Big Ten over the last 30 years. Nebraska 23 and counting, looking to match Ohio State. Back in 2010, 2011, 24. Illinois, 2004, 2005, won 29 straight. And Minnesota led by 8 at the 17:32 mark. It was a 40-32 game. Since then, it's been all Nebraska. Huskers now with a 9-point lead. Grayson Grove back on the floor for the Gophers. So mismatch inside. Crocker Johnson, he had position on Jacobson. Awesome, a way off. And Minnesota, as hot as they were in the first half, Coach, ice cold here.
Sitting here courtside, though, you can feel it. We're mesmerized by the offensive performance here by Nebraska. It's their defense that's setting this up. Everything feels rushed. Every shot, every pass, every dribble feels rushed for Minnesota.
1-5 hole on Buick to Gel. And now Reynolds with a push. The Euro on the paint and a foul. And Sanford thought he had all ball. Instead, he's whistled for the foul. And for Sanford, that's going to be his 3rd. And the 7th team foul now on Nebraska.
For some action, Reynolds decides to push that ball. These guys are adept at the Euro look. Sanford's a scorer. He should know, like, everybody wants that foul. You mean I get to go to the line unguarded?
Reynolds 1 of 3 at the line today.
School of thought, Corey. With it going downhill for Minnesota right now, do they switch it up? Will we see a little bit of zone? The fear is that Lawrence has made a 3, Jacobson's made the 3, Sanford's got it going. You fear like, I don't want to give that 3 up. But there has to be some change here for Minnesota.
Langston Reynolds, by the way, sitting on 999 career points after knocking down 2 free throws. Sanford to Hoiberg, Jacobson from the corner. Here comes Isaac Awesome.
Get some touches. Move the ball.
Like that.
What a pass.
And a foul.
Get touches. A pocket pass. That's the terminology where the ball gets down by your pocket.
No foul. They called basket interference, but it went in anyway for Grove. Sanford resets, knocks it down. Oh, he's got the quickest release in the land. And Sanford putting on a show here in the second half.
Reynolds did everything right, showed up, did a second jump. But you know what? Sometimes the other kid gets a scholarship too.
Awesome in trouble there in the corner. Shot clock down to 4. Durkin with 3. Got the 3 off in time. That was off. Strong defense from Nebraska. Turnover Minnesota. It'll be Nebraska ball when we come back. Price Sanford came in last 3 games averaging 24 points, shooting 57% from 3. He had 2 points at halftime. But man, that stroke looking sound here in the second half. Nebraska with the ball up 8 when we come back to the Bard. Welcome back. Let's take a look at today's stat comparison powered by Ram Trucks, and nothing stops Ram. First half, Minnesota 9 made threes. It was quiet for Nebraska. Different story though, coach, here in the second half for both teams.
The defense by Nebraska has really been amped up, and what it's led to is crisper execution at the offensive end. They are really determining almost possession by possession who will get the next shot. And as hot as Sanford has been, Lawrence made some big buckets. This ball again will go through mast.
Michael Medved, Fred Hoiberg, needing number 88 all time between the Gophers and the Huskers. Minnesota won on a late shot over Nebraska last year in Lincoln. There's Lawrence, hit one from that spot earlier, and this time is fouled, shooting 3. And Isaac Awesome is whistled for his 4th.
Overreaction to Sanford's dribble penetration. Lawrence again getting his eyes on the rim. Repeat it again, catch and shoot, catch and shoot.
Jamarcus Lawrence back with Nebraska a couple of years in Lincoln, then transferred to Rhode Island. Was back in the portal, and contact was made quickly between Lawrence and Nebraska to come on back. And Fred Hoiberg says, you know what, he didn't burn any bridges when he left the first time. He kept the dialogue going, got a chance to play some point guard at Rhode Island, and now came back to Lincoln to join this talented Nebraska team that is seeking win number 20 to start the season.
Tribute to both sides. Neither side burned a bridge.
Largest lead for Nebraska today.
1 bucket, Minnesota. Work your way back in now.
Awesome stays on the floor with 4 fouls. There's Durkin over Hoiberg. Nebraska now 0 of 10 from 3 this half.
Nebraska prides themselves on taking away the paint. They've done it again this entire half.
Under 7 to play. Here's Sanford for 3. His third 3 in the game. He's up to 17 points, 15 of which have come here in the second half.
No tag on him that time. He came off of that high screen naked, basically.
Offensive foul. Let's go back to Sanford a moment ago.
Solid screen by Mast. No wasted dribbles. 1-2 into your shot.
Foul was on Crocker Johnson, just his first. You see Sanford, he has 15 second half points. The Gophers as a team only have 12. Outscoring the Gophers individually this half is Bryce Sanford. Oh my! Is he hot or what? Up to 20 points. All smiles for a reason.
Salute to these Nebraska fans. They certainly didn't stay home.
Actually, Minnesota has lost 9 straight games to AP top 10 teams, and they really haven't been close. I mean, the Gophers have been blown out in many of these games against top 10 teams. This one was close, but now Nebraska distancing themselves a bit from Minnesota here in the second half, and the play of that man, a big reason why.
Boy, one of the things that happens with all players, I don't care what level, is when the ball's not going in at one end, they lose concentration for that split second. That's exactly what happened at the defensive end. You cannot let your offense dictate your defensive attention to detail. That's what we're going to hear after this game from Nico.
Nebraska outscoring Minnesota 35-12 here in the second half. And Reynolds, he was trying to hang and play tag with Sanford, and that's on Crocker Johnson, beg your pardon. Inside, that'll be the second on Crocker Johnson. And now free throws upcoming for Nebraska. Rick Mast. 1-1, and he knocks it down. 83% free throw shooter.
I think that number, Corey, when you're talking about a Big Ten home team only getting 15 points and a half, that's what Nebraska is proudest of right now. Not the spread, not the fact that the ball started to go in this half, but the team commitment to defend.
Eight points, 6 rebounds for Rick Mast, a 14-0 run for the Huskers. Awesome, a cut off. Crocker Johnson blocked by Buick to Jell. 8th Nebraska block shot today.
Run possessions now. Not that the game's over, but pick where you're going to shoot it. You determine it, not the defense in that situation. Earlier you had mentioned that Minnesota likes longer possessions. Now you can't. They're going to have to up-tempo this thing.
Shot clock now at 8. For Osima. Bounce in traffic to Shinholster, fouled by Hoiberg. That'll be his 4th. And a 1-1 upcoming for Minnesota. Hoiberg had 14 points in the first half, hasn't scored in the second half, hasn't needed to because Bryce Sanford has 18 second half points.
You can forget that column when looking at his impact on a game. It's always assist. It's always deflections. It's always rebounds.
It's 1-1 for Shinholster. Now 6 out of 7 at the line, and even when Fred Hoiberg's team was down 6, 7, 8 points, his expression didn't change, Coach. Right? It was just
his stomach did, though. His stomach did. I guarantee you that. Nobody. But he's orchestrated this offense. Earlier in the game, we talked about who's going to take the shot. They're deciding who's going to take that shot.
Mast off the feed from Sanford. Missed it. Here's Reynolds. He has 7, and with that, congratulations to Langston Reynolds. He has surpassed 1,000 career collegiate points. 6'4" senior from Denver, Colorado, by way of Northern Colorado. Sanford, a rare second-half miss, and now awesome on the push.
Bucket here from Minnesota. You might see a timeout from Fred.
Durkin, good cut, and scores over Mast.
Some way you're going to have to speed up possessions. And Nebraska will just walk this to the finish line.
Time to shoot. Now Sanford on the cuts.
Put that on the highlight tape. Everybody in basketball should watch that highlight tape. Why? Everybody cut it. Everybody cut. Everybody touched it. Sanford finished it with a back cut.
And Gel went for the steal, and Durkin could not hang on to it. And we have a timeout with 3:11 to go here in the second half.
Nebraska now is trying to walk to the finish line. Everybody touches the ball. A low post touch and a cut. That's why they have assist numbers that are astounding.
Nebraska up by 16, 3:11 to go. Kate Tyson second in the conference in scoring. Hasn't really been much of a factor here in the second half, and this is probably why. Earlier this half, going for the ball and then collided with Price Sanford, and both some slight discomfort. Tyson more than Sanford, and with that being said, Kate Tyson, he has been on the end of the bench next to some injured Gophers here in the second half. So it's already a very thin Minnesota team for Nico Medved, and coach could ill afford to lose even one more player, let alone the guy that's second in the conference in scoring in Kate Tyson.
And Corey, one of the things that I don't want to get away from it is this has changed exactly how they practice. They do very little contact in practice, very cerebral, and now you have that. So it had nothing to do with the 4 tough losses in a row. It has to do with bodies to put out there.
Rarely can even go 5-on-5. Nico Medved announcing yesterday B.J. Beaumont, redshirt junior from Mankato, Minnesota, transferred from Cal. He won't play this season. He's been out. So the scholarship players that Minnesota was counting on just don't have that many bodies anymore. Time to shoot. Here's Hoiberg along the baseline. No, Mast the tip, and wave it off. Interference there for Mast. It'll be Minnesota ball, 2:03 to play. The subs come in for the Gophers. Reynolds will come out. Crocker Johnson comes out. Grayson Grove is in. Also Maximus Gizzi, a 5th-year senior by way of Huntington University in Indiana. Will check in. Nice hand for Mast. And here's Kendall Blue. Nice honor for Nebraska. He's a Minnesota native, number 2 from nearby Woodbury, Minnesota. Plays high school ball at East Ridge High School in Woodbury, getting a chance to come home and play.
And a lot of people here for him.
Played in St. Paul at St. Thomas, now in Lincoln, and getting a chance to play here at the Barn. Nebraska on its way to win number 20.
When you have a young man come home, you know it's a big deal.
Tickets.
After the game, tickets is one. After the game, somebody in that family made cookies, cakes, whatever. They give you good food when you take a kid home.
So he was asked, Kendall Blue was asked yesterday by Nebraska team officials how many folks are coming. He said, I'm accounting for about 20 or 25 that I know of. but expecting quite a few more to attend the game today. Hoiberg lost his footing, finds Lawrence. He's had a solid game.
A rotation, a substitution timeout. Fred Hoiberg is not rubbing it in. He just wants to give these guys an opportunity to play.
And here comes the bench for Nebraska. Justin Bolus. He'll check in, and these Nebraska fans, they've been traveling in droves. Good showing here in the Twin Cities, and Minnesota led by 8 points. It was a 40-32 game, 17:32 to play, and since then Nebraska has taken over. And now the Go Big Red chants all around the barn with 60 seconds to go.
But they're playing the same way. Notice this. Everybody touches the ball. Everybody wants him to shoot, though.
Traveling violation, turnover.
Everybody in the program wanted that young fella to take a shot when he's home. Probably haven't played here in town. He probably played pickup here in the barn.
Yeah. Sturkin underneath.
Nice pass.
Nebraska will head home back to Lincoln. And then what a matchup it'll be Tuesday in Ann Arbor against number 3 Michigan. Here's Kendall Blue knocking it down. And look at the reaction from the Nebraska section. And that smile
His teammates.
says a whole lot right there.
Nebraska, some performance in the second half. Minnesota, because of the way they practice and prepare, they'll be ready for their next one too.
The best story in college basketball marches on. Down 6 at halftime, no problem. They find a way. Outscoring Minnesota 46-21 in the second half and win convincingly 76-57. 24 consecutive wins dating back to last season. Top of the second longest winning streak in the Big Ten by any Big Ten team in nearly 30 years. 20-0, 9-0 in conference play. Last time Nebraska began a conference season 9-0 was back in the Big 8 days, 1965, 1966. And the Huskers improved to 20-0 and now 9-0 in league play, knocking off the Gophers 76-57. Bryce Sandfort with 22 points, had 20 in the second half. Marcus Lawrence had 14. Sam Hoiberg had 14 as well. Now Nebraska had this game in hand for a while, but a nice moment here late in the ball game, getting the Minnesota native Kendall Blue into the ball game and knocking down the 3. Little glance to the sideline, no doubt saw his teammates, some family, some friends from Woodbury, Minnesota, by way of East Ridge High School. Had a great moment here late, and Nebraska with the win, 76-57, and the Huskers now 20-0 this season. So Fred Hoiberg and the Huskers win again, and Fred Hoiberg is standing by right now with Coach Phil Martelli.
Fred, everybody will focus on the 20-0, but I know you. It was just about being 1-0 today.
100%, and I didn't like our first half. I thought we were a little bit short, a little bit slow on our closeouts. We just didn't have the urgency that we needed. I thought we played a little bit soft. Second half, we really flipped it. I thought our defense was unbelievable in the second half, and that got us out in transition. We rebounded the ball really well. We finally got Bryce going. We felt that we could loosen them up as the game went on. They're really good with their defensive pressure, and I thought our guys did a great job. I think 24 assists on 29 baskets, and again, we found the hot hand. We found a little formula that was working out there, but everything started with our defense.
It sure seems that their packages that you have will highlight the guy that has it going. And did you force any action to get Bryce going there?
Yeah, I mean, we found him. That's one thing. Our guys have done a great job of recognizing when he's got it going, when Rink has it going from the three-point line, when Braden has it going, of just going out and finding him. Not particularly a set that we run, but more so in transition in our flow. And that's where I thought our offense was really good in the second half.
And then the last thing would be the fan support is amazing.
It's unbelievable. I think we had over half of the fans in Chicago in our game last week, and had a great showing again today. That's what Husker fans do. This team, I think, has been pretty darn easy to root for just because of their makeup, their daily approach. They get after it. We're going to get in there and talk about great win, but now we got to move on. We got a hell of an opportunity on the road against one of the best teams in the country in Michigan.
Really appreciate it, and I know what you're looking to do. 1-0 on Tuesday. Thank you.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. That'll do it from the barn. Nebraska knocking off Minnesota 76-57 for Phil Martelli and our great crew. Corey Brovis saying so long from Minneapolis. We send you now back to L.A. Here's Rob Soto, the guys from Los Angeles.